and there we go. So now we're going to be going on. I'm going to wait a second here to make sure this is working. And now we're going to go on to the B Cup Live here also on YouTube. So hi, Andy. Hi, you guys. So come on over to YouTube too. If you can figure out how to make that work, that would be totally awesome. So it's always a delay. It's like a weird delay that I have to see myself on both of them, but I'm getting good at this stuff. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Kimberly. Hi, Andy. Thank you so much for the love. I appreciate that. I always need a lot of love. Stace says Rachel will be on and explain more about the new group. Okay, so I also am going to talk a little bit about the group, but Rachel can come on and do that as well. So if you kids here in Facebook can come over to YouTube soon, I would appreciate that, because again, I'm trying to really eliminate the Facebook. Though I'm wondering if doing both of them at the same time is annoying. Is it annoying to you guys? It's not so annoying to me. It's just a matter of the fact of the cameras. But I think if I put my other camera directly in front of my face somehow, if I figure out how to do that, we can make it work a lot better. So move on over to YouTube, and there we go. I see some of my friends. Right on, kids. Right on. Thank you, guys. Hi, Philip. Hi, Lauren. Hi, Cole. Good morning, everybody. Okay, so there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in this country, and specifically the United States, this country. Wow, we just got some serious problems happening. It's phenomenal that we live in a country that I never would have thought we would be having the conversations we're having about the leader of our country. YouTube is not broke. YouTube is not broke, Randy. I'm going to make it so it works for all of us. There's something else now that a lot of people are using that I want to know if you guys have used. It's called YouNow. Do any of you guys know YouNow? Are you? Hi, thanks for coming over to YouTube. I see all you kids over here. Oswald, I see Elle, I see Ninja Bear. Yeah, there is more of a delay. I have to figure that out. I think it's the software that I'm using. So there's like a weird delay there. It is depressing, Kelly. Yeah, look at YouNow. I think the younger generation is using that. I think I know why there's a delay. I'm going to work on fixing that. So YouTube is not as easy to stream as Facebook is. So anyway, so what are you saying here? Like I always say, how the hell is Trump still? How the hell is Trump still? How? How is a good question. How is Trump still the president of our amazing, beautiful country? How? Aiden uses YouNow. Yeah, younger generation uses YouNow. So I'm going to look into YouNow, and we're going to see about how we can also use that platform to do the B Cup. If we have 3 platforms and we're doing the same show, we reach more people that way, right? Jessica says, America has turned their backs on the truth. This is a very profound statement. America has turned its back on the truth. Wow, or to the truth. It is, as you see, Trampa feels baffled. I feel baffled at the fact that there's just so much hatred in our country, and I really have the feeling I know a lot of the reason why. Jason says, hey, Buck, had a really, really long night. My kitty had her kittens and wouldn't let me leave her side. Oh, congratulations. That's amazing. Goth Girl Punk says YouNow can be linked to YouTube, so you can go live on YouNow and it can show up on YouTube. Right on. That's what I want to hear. Making it easy for Trampa. I will come to Brazil soon, my friend. I will. What I want to talk about right now, kids, is this. I want to talk about this new group that Stacy and Rachel and Ty, the moderators of our group, put together. We had a great idea. Well, it was mostly their idea, but the idea is that we started a group specific to parents on Facebook, a closed group specific to parents of trans kids, so that we can, and not me, so that I could specifically talk to the parents about being an older transgender, transsexual man, and the things that I had to go through and wished I didn't have to go through, and that I think that if parents knew these things, they could actually have a better experience raising their trans kids. I mean, clearly it's different. I was, raised in the 1960s, though it feels like we've gone back to the 1960s or the 50s in a lot of ways. So I think it could be a very helpful, useful thing, that speaking directly to the parents in a closed group, so that it is really personal and that it is really just specifically about that, and we don't get crazy wingnut trolls like saying crazy shit like there's no such thing as transgender children. And I'm like, hello, I'm here, and now I'm a transsexual man, and I was a trans child, and there's a lot of them, so I don't really know what you're talking about. But also having the presence of transgender children in the world is a really positive thing, I think. Jessica says, I would love to help you in any way. I have 3 kids and I'm a trans woman. Take note of that, kids. Jessica, we want to get a hold of you, my friend. Jennifer says, education is the only thing that will make a change. I think that idea is wonderful. Thank you. We believe it's a wonderful idea too, because directly I can speak to the parents about the products that I'm releasing, like my, buck offs, which are great. They were telling me that there's some parents who are actually talking to their teenage kids about giving them the buck off to use, which is can you imagine how beautiful that is, that your parent at 15 says, you know what, I know that you're having sexual feelings or this and that. Let's talk about it. Why don't we try this thing, and maybe it will make you feel better, or maybe talking positively to a youngster about their sexual growth and the things that are happening to them, instead of shutting it down and pretending that they're not having feelings in their body, is such a profound, amazing, positive thing to do for your child. To speak positively to your transgender child about their body, about the way they feel in their body, about their sexuality, about connecting to their body sexually, is such a beautiful, amazing thing. I want to be part of that. I want to be part of helping the kids connect, helping the parents connect with their children around their bodies. I mean, the opportunity for that is everything. I live for that. You know what I mean? Elle says, sadly, a lot of them are full of fear and hatred to do their hardcore. Well, we got that too. But the parents that are going to come to see and listen to us are the parents who are of trans kids, and the parents who do want to make sure that their trans kids do have an opportunity to live a full life, and do have an opportunity to live a life of happiness and fulfillment. And again, I will say it again as I say it every day. Visibility is everything. And I believe that we create visibility by using ourselves. Because the more that we are visible, and the more that we are functioning, and the more that we are healthy mentally and physically, everyone gets why it is an important thing to talk about transitioning as a positive thing, and not as something that we're brainwashing. People think we're brainwashing kids into being trans. First off, if the kid comes to you and says, Mom, I feel like a boy, how are you brainwashing? Okay? Christian says, wow, that is awesome. So many parents do not do that, even doesn't matter their gender. You're right. Parents just don't do that. Rachel says, I am in a group with hundreds of parents, activists. They are awesome parents. Yeah, and Rachel is one of our moderators. Rachel is amazing. Jessica says, let them learn in a safe environment rather than off to the internet and trial and error. Exactly. Mika says, shutting down the emotions of trans kids further perpetuates the individuality and lack of fluidity for the trans community and society. Parents positively support their trans kids in everything. And this is why we need to talk to the parents. And we need to participate with the parents. And we need to be visible to the parents so that they could say, yes, I am making the right choice. I am possibly making the right choice for my child. Just let your child be. This is the thing that I always speak to parents about. They always ask me, Buck, what should I do? How do I know? I'm like, first off, you don't know. Nobody knows. The only person that knows is you, is yourself. So when your child is coming to you and saying, Mom, I feel like a trans person today, okay. That just means, okay, it's not a bad thing. But what does it mean to be trans, right? Remember that question. What does it mean to be trans? To me, when I was a kid growing up and I was called a tomboy, that's trans. It was just another word for being a transsexual kid. That's what I was. But they didn't have that lingo back then. They called us, tomboys. But that's basically what it is. You're just a tomboy. You're just playing with your gender. You're just discovering yourself. You cannot say specifically that you are one way or another when you are 10 years old. I don't believe it. But what you can say is, I feel this way. You can say, Mom or Dad, I feel this way. It's what I did. Good morning, Bianca. Nice to see you. It's what I did. I said, Mom and Dad, I feel this way. And they were like, okay, just be you. We'll buy you G.I. Joes and we'll dress you in boy clothes and blah, blah, blah. And it was totally fine. It was society that fucked us up. It was society that told my parents, that's your daughter and not your son. So you better stop letting her wear boys' clothes. That's what fucked the system up between me and my parents and myself and took me to a nosedive. When my whole life was amazing when I was a kid. When I got to be Buck and play and have G.I. Joes and skateboard and run around with the other boys, it was amazing. It wasn't until they told me no that I couldn't be that. I couldn't be that. And then all of a sudden, it just changed. It just changed. It just changed. And all of a sudden, I couldn't be Buck anymore. I had to be Susan. I had to be a little girl. I had to be the thing that I hated more than anything in my life. And then what happened to me? Everything under the sun happened to me negatively. My school went down. My alcoholism went up. My drug addiction went up. My cutting started. My self-hate started. All because I just couldn't be Buck like I was for most of my childhood. Because all of a sudden people were telling my parents, that's a little girl, your little girl, and not your little boy. Back in the 1960s and 70s, that shit was happening. So it's why I feel like I need to be present in the society that we are, in the world today where we are teaching parents that it is okay to talk to your child. It is okay to talk to your child about being whatever they need to be. And if you want to label it transgender, go ahead, label it transgender. I don't know what it is. All I know is that's what I was. And if you need to label it, go right ahead. But let your child just be. Just let them be. Jessica says, unless the parents are educated, we will always be a taboo and a hidden secret. They need to see us. I had to hide my whole life, and it's the most lonely feeling in the world. What Jessica just said is not just about being trans. It's about being you. I'm going to read it again. Unless the parents are educated, we will always be a taboo and a hidden secret. They need to see us. I had to hide my whole life, and it's the most lonely feeling in the world. Now, you don't have to be a transgender person to understand what that means. You don't have to be a transgender person. That applies to everybody. Many people don't get to be themselves, whatever that means. Many people don't get to explore their sexuality because they've been told it's bad. Many people don't get to explore different types of things that they want to try, where they want to live, who they want to be, because they have been told that they cannot do that. The topic of today is manifest. Manifest. We all know what manifest means. It means to think, to feel, to perceive, to look, to envision. Envision what you want to have. So you don't think little kids are envisioning themselves as G.I. Joe like I did? They sure as hell are. They sure as hell are. Little kids are doing that. Mika says, when my kids were toddlers, raising them gender neutral was easy. Now that they're in school age, society is making them, exactly. This is a very interesting, making them feel indifferent for liking certain colors, playing certain sports. Society is the one telling our children to be uncomfortable with themselves. I am constantly reiterating that it is okay to be who they are no matter what, because you're an awesome parent. The communication is open between us for an early age. I understand more than anything because I was taught to hide. Jennifer says, your voice needs to be heard, especially since being trans is now a discussed topic in media daily. People need to see that it is not about sex, but about being free and loving yourself. Tracy says, because regardless of how the parents feel, it will not change the feeling and urges and needs of the trans person. It's natural. And that's what we need to talk to the parents about, because they don't have anybody to talk to. There's nobody that's really, I mean, there's some books out there and there's some things, but let's talk to the people who have done it. Let's give the parents an opportunity to talk to the elders of the community who have transitioned and who have walked the world now in the body that they always wanted to and are successful and have become a person of society and are participating on a level that is functioning because they got the opportunity to transition to the person that they needed to be. Again, that is not specifically trans. That's your sexuality, right? That's everything. We must teach that let your child be whoever your child wants to be, because your child has that feeling inside them for a reason. They're not just making that stuff up. Charlie says, I've always discussed all aspects of the LGBT community since she was born, basically. I let her be her, whoever and whatever that is, and it has to start somewhere. Good morning, my friend Charlie, and that's beautiful. And that's beautiful. And the parents, to me, the parents are one of the most important parts of the equation on how do we move our community forward. Parents are going to be raising the young generation. If we have beautiful, awesome parents, which we do, as I know, I see lots of them in my rooms. It's amazing. We have awesome, beautiful parents, but there's many parents out there who are lost, who aren't guided, who don't know, and they live in the middle of somewhere in Idaho in a mountain, and they have a transgender kid, and they have no way to talk to anybody. That's why shows like ours are so important. That's why speaking about these things, even though we already know it, it's so important because somebody's going to log on to our B Cup and hear what they need to hear and go, oh my God, this is like okay that I'm letting my child dress like that. It is okay that I'm letting them show up at school being a little boy when everyone says they're a little girl. We have to support our parents of transgender kids and let them feel loved and let them feel supported. Because believe me, I don't think that they are from a lot of people. My parents weren't 60s, 70s. My parents were not. Nat says, I wish I had parents who had taught me that. I would have been much more comfortable in my skin. But you didn't. And now you're the kind of person you are. And now you can talk about it. And now your experience, my friend, can help parents. Because what you just said is a very profound, important statement. If they would have done what he wanted them to do, and I can't remember if that's your gender, preferred gender, but I'm saying that anyway. If they would have let you just be and teach you, that's the key. The key to everything in our lives is just always being authentic, and that is even with a child. I do not understand this idea that when your child says, Mommy, I want to wear a dress, and it's Tommy who's being raised as a boy, but Tommy wants to wear a dress to school, and everybody loses their mind over Tommy wearing a dress. Why? Why? Why is everybody getting so upset about Tommy wearing a dress? It doesn't make sense to me. Who cares? Did it make Tommy happy? Is Tommy being really amazing person? Is Tommy walking the world as a happy little kid? Is Tommy stopping hating himself? Is Tommy stopping being locked in the room all day because he doesn't want to come outside because he doesn't feel comfortable being a boy? But when you put Tommy in the dress, he's a functioning little person who can walk the world and be happy and smile and jump around and be that? Of course. So you tell me why we are telling parents not to let Tommy be Susie and not to let Tommy be a little girl. Because why? Can somebody really tell me why? I mean, clearly I know why, but I want to know what you guys think. Rachel, Gothpunk says, I was pregnant as a teen. Pick up the phone. I got little boy and your mom and dad home. I always looking. Wow, okay. Rachel says, some parents have no idea about anything LGBT. Exactly. They are scared and frightened to reach out when they say the wrong things and use the wrong route. The community needs their help. And that's what we're going to do, my friend Rachel. And it was Rachel and Stacy and idea to do this because they're in groups like that. And that's why I believe when they brought that to my attention, I'm like, let's do something. Let's have a private room where people can ask me questions. I'm not the ultimate leader. I'm not even a leader. I'm not a leader of the community. I'm just a person who have lived a life and made it through to the other side. And it is for me an honor, a blessing, everything to be able to share that in order to create another generation that will be happier, more fulfilled, functioning human beings. I had a horrible part of my life that I never want anybody to have, only because I couldn't be this dude right here. Only because everybody kept fighting against me to be a man. And everybody kept telling me I'm not a man. And so what did that end up making me do? Cut myself, hate myself, drink a shitload of alcohol, do a ton of drugs, cut my face, cut my breasts. Why? Why did I do that? I did it because, not because of my parents. My parents are like the rest of these parents. They were at a loss. They wanted me to be Buck. They were happy with me being Buck. It wasn't until they were told as parents that they are not allowed to do that with me. They are not allowed to dress me that way. They are not allowed to call me Buck. They are not allowed. Really? And that took my whole family into a tailspin all the way down when we were a happy, functioning family. And all of a sudden, we were not anymore. And I got ostracized from the world, and I fell deep into depression. And from that moment on until I decided to go to have my transition, I was not a functioning person in society. And that's the point. And that's the point. If we don't talk about our stories when we grew up and we didn't get to be this kind of way and how amazing it is, and we need to give the support to the parents and tell them that they're doing the right thing by letting their child say exactly how they want to be and also supporting their child. Supporting your child and saying, yes, I think I understand what you are going through. How can I help you? That's all you want to hear. That's all anybody ever hears when they're feeling uncomfortable in themselves or their body. The only thing you ever want to hear is, I love you. You're okay. Like, I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry because I remember when I kept saying, I feel like a man. I feel like a boy. I want to be a man. And everyone except my parents said to me, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're not a boy. You're not a man. You're a girl. You must live that way. It doesn't matter. We don't care. And what did that do to me? It destroyed me. It destroyed me because that whole time I lived as a guy. And then all of a sudden one day, no more. You have to wear dresses. You have to be called the girl name. You have to walk the world as a girl. And everything crashed. Everything. As you see, it still sticks with me. It will never leave me. It will never leave me because that pain didn't have to be there. It didn't have to be there. The only reason it was there is because people didn't understand. This was how old am I? I'm 55. We are still having this discussion. Why? Why are we still having the discussion when a person knows who they are, especially a child? To say that you are discounting a child's feelings is to say you don't care. Is to say you don't care about that child or your child and that you know better. You don't know shit. You don't know shit. You don't know anything that I'm thinking. You don't know anything that I'm feeling. You don't know anything, only about you. That's the thing that people have to start to understand. When somebody says, I feel, it means I feel. I can't say you feel because I don't know how you feel. But if we don't, look at the pain. That's pain. My crying eyes are pain from years ago of my life. And I still am attached to that pain. It is still something I'm working to get rid of. And it's the last thing I want to see, parents having this pain and children having this pain. And why are we still even having the fucking conversation? Why? Because people aren't given the opportunity to talk about it, to teach about it. Our community isn't even stepping up to the plate. There are people in our community who aren't stepping up to the plate and taking the time and the energy to give back to a community that has given you a space to be who you are. And it is why I always say to you, you cannot just take, you have to give back. And when people in this community say, it is not my obligation or it is not my job to educate the world, it sure the fuck is. You know why it is your job? Because now you have had the privilege to transition. And it is selfish behavior to say that it is not your job to educate. It is goddamn your job to educate. It is 100% your job to teach the rest of the world that being a transgender or a transsexual person is normal. It is the way that we should start to teach people that if you feel that way, it is okay. And for you to just take from the community, get your transition, be in your space, and walk away is selfish behavior. And I don't believe it. But if that's something that you think that you need to do, then go over there and sit down. You no longer have a voice in the way that we, who choose to educate the rest of the world, take the time and energy to do it. But if you're going to say that it is not your job to educate the world, right on, my friend. Sit down and go over there. Because the rest of us don't feel that way. I for sure don't feel that way. I feel that it is my job to educate, and it is my job to further show visibility and to further move us forward. Because without us having the B Cup and having the discussion with parents and talking about why we feel this way or what we think we could have done differently or what my parents could have done differently or what I'm doing today, how do you think we will move forward? Yes, good morning, Crystal. Thanks, you guys, for taking care of that. Jessica says, I love you, Buck. I can't help myself. I'm a real sensitive man. I'm a very sensitive man. And as you know, I'm a very vulnerable person who lets myself be vulnerable in front of the world. I do that because it's powerful. I do it because I know it creates change. And I do it because I'm not scared. And I have no fear of being vulnerable. Being vulnerable is an amazing place to let yourself grow. I don't have anything to hide from anybody. I am. Being crying and being that is not weak, as we know that. We must start to teach our male population that it is not weak to cry. It is actually very powerful to cry. And it actually shows your vulnerability, which in a sense shows your progression as a person. But anyway, I'm not saying that about me. Well, what I want to say is this. I cry because of the pain of the past that should have never been. And it was only that way is because nobody knew and nobody was educating because there were people in our community who didn't feel the need to educate. And I don't understand that. I don't understand that thought process. I don't understand this thought process of people in our community who don't think it's their job to educate. Yet there they are taking resources from our community, getting privileged to transition, living the life of joy of being transitioned, and turning around and walking away. What is that? That's selfish behavior, and I personally don't think it's okay. But that's okay. Like I said, do what you need to do. I'm not going to tell you to do what. But don't tell us that we are educating wrong, and don't tell us that what we do is not a positive thing, because that's something I won't stand for. Oh, hi, Larissa. How you doing, my friend? And Elliot says, vulnerability is bravery. It is. Jessica says, it's a scar that won't heal. Trust me, I feel it daily and could have easily been prevented with education. Exactly, Jessica. with education, and is why I believe it is my obligation to speak to the parents in order for the children to grow up to be fucking happy, functioning people in society. It's the only thing that we need to say to the rest of the world, the rest of the United States who don't believe us. This is all we need to say. Whether or not you believe us or not, my friend, here's the deal. Would you rather have people growing up feeling happy, feeling satisfied, feeling productive, becoming a productive part of our society and moving us forward? Or would you rather have people grow up angry, disconnected, becoming not part of society, acting out, and that could be anything, drug addiction, becoming criminals and stealing and cheating and lying and becoming dysfunctional people? Really? So which one would you pick? That's what we need to talk about. We need to talk about, yeah, when you don't understand, that's fine. But here's the deal. If you let people be themselves, they become functioning part of society, which creates a healthy society. When you don't let people function and be themselves, whatever that means, they become dysfunctional, acting out, unhappy, unproductive people of society, which in turn means we have to take care of them. We have to put them places. We have to put them on medication, blah, blah, blah. It becomes a whole fucking space that they didn't need to be in, only because they didn't get the proper love and acceptance that they could have got when they were children. And everyone could have said, yeah, Tommy is Susie. That's awesome. Big fucking deal. That's why we must be visible in the world. It is why we must be visible in order to create change. Manifest, manifest, manifest. Manifest what you want. Manifest who you are. Manifest what you want to be. Manifest what you want to achieve. Manifest. It means to think about. It means to perceive yourself in a space. It means that you want. It means you can change. It means positivity. When you manifest anger, negativity, which you do every day, we all do it. I'm guilty of it. We all do it. We all do it. In some way, shape, or form, we say, I'm not good enough, or we point fingers at somebody else, or we don't take our response. We're manifesting that. We're manifesting that anger. We're manifesting that block. Instead of stopping at that moment and saying, wait a minute, why am I thinking so negatively? Why am I thinking about everything so horribly? Stop. Immediately change your thought pattern. It's a real thing and you can do it. I watch it happen to me all the time. I go into thoughts and I'm like, wait a minute, dude, you don't need to think about that. Get back into the positive space. Life is amazing. Every day that you wake up, life is amazing. Every day that you wake up, life is amazing. Even if it's not in the space that you physically want to be in. Even if it's not the home you want to be in, the apartment you want to be in, the job you're in, the car you're driving, the girlfriend, the boyfriend, the person you're with isn't the person. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you're waking up alive in your body with the opportunity to create the day that you want to create. That's all that matters at that point in time when you wake up and your eyes pop open. You woke up. You woke up and you get to get out of bed and you get to have a coffee and you get to move forward and you get to create your day. Nobody else. And that's what manifesting is. That's what manifesting is, friends. Laura says, you're so right. Repression leads to dysfunction. Casbian says, my parents did their best with me, but they didn't have any trans resources and it made my childhood a struggle. That is exactly what we're talking to. Liam says, I agree with giving back. I have mainly backed away from the community because of how they were gatekeeping my ideas and language. However, in my daily life, I give back. That's all you got to know, Liam. And that's why we're here in the B Cup. We feel the same way you do. We got tired of being told how to be. Larissa, I love my coffee. We get tired of telling how to be. We get tired of people telling us how to be trans, how to be gay, how to be queer, how to be blah. Everyone's getting tired of it. We're just ahead of the game. Vicky says, you're such an inspiration, Buck. Thanks for taking. Thank you, my friend. Jessica says, please stay. You always. Thank you. Living in Louisiana is horrible, but you're always a beacon of hope. Oh, I miss Louisiana a lot. It's a beautiful place. I'll be back there to visit. So I'm going to leave now because I got to get going and got to take care of some stuff. You know that I love you guys a lot. You know that you mean the world to me. You know that I can't do this without you, and you can't do this without me. And that's called giving and taking. And that's called creating a community where none of us are leaders, none of us are gatekeepers. The only rules and regulations we have at the B Cup are this. Empathy, compassion, dialogue, opinions, love, acceptance, giving back, taking, all of these things. We want to have discussions here. Nobody is going to get shut down unless you attack and you have no open mind. Other than that, everything is on the table here, kids. And that's the way a community should be. Should be speaking to each other. We should be having ideas and creating how do we move forward as people. Not how do we stop this? How do we stop our community from growing? Oh, I know. We create a place where nobody can speak their own language. We create a place where everyone has to look alike. We create a place where everyone talks and walks alike, right? That's what's happened. And that's why everybody is pretty over it. And my voice is shouting at the top of my lungs, stop it. Stop it now. You have destroyed a community that once was thriving, beautiful, accepting, loving. You have taken a community and that is so hurtful, a community that is hurt, a community that is vulnerable, a community that, vulnerable being one of the major things, a community that doesn't know which way to go. And whoever decided to become the gatekeepers and the leaders knew that, and they took it over, and they made all of the vulnerable people feel more vulnerable and less about being themselves. And that's why we must be a community again and give back and speak to each other and give love to each other. Because if we don't do that, I'm going to say it again, we're done. So I'm going to finish my coffee and we're going to go. Go out to the day, you guys. Create that day. Speak to people. Walk your walk. Talk your talk. Be the person that you want to be. Be proud of you. And don't worry what other people think about you, because everyone's always going to have an opinion about you. Always, always, always. It doesn't matter because it's only an opinion. And if you did something shitty, you know you did it. Make up for it. Everyone makes mistakes. Don't fucking beat yourself up for it. Everyone makes mistakes. The only thing I ask of you is to acknowledge the mistake, fix the mistake, move on, and never do the mistake again. That's all. Everyone makes mistakes. We are allowed to do that. And if you don't make mistakes, you must be a robot. Because mistakes are part of being a human being. But we don't need to be beat up for it. In our community, we're beat up if we do something that is not right. Like, we need to stop that behavior. Bye, you guys. Have a beautiful day. I'm thinking of you. And you know what to do.